Hey everyone, there we are. Woo! What I was doing earlier, Femke and I was, just collaborating and assisting a few individually. I haven't checked my messages in the last half hour or so there may be a couple more in there that may attend to after a little bit. So we've been kind of just waiting in a waiting mode, Femke and I here. We've done extensive energetic work around the Netherlands and as we've been reporting on and meeting and visiting with a considerable amount of new divine ones. So, having said that, is always a great pleasure to meet others, all of the family, if you will, and the like-minded others. Having said that, Femke is visiting one of her children today, so it's a great time for I as well to do some assisting others in any way that I can. So I'm here upon the planet for divine service, and so it is. So if you have any questions on self-empowerment, your divine abilities, the ascension overall, what's going on, and and of course, one of our recent favorites, the new monetary system for the people that we have created. It's already created, but we need everyone to transition into, which is very great. So everything's on topic. So hello Linda, Leslie, great to see you. Hung, hello. Good to see you. Should be out camping, I believe, and Norma and Michelle. Woo! Well, we're up for any questions. If anyone has any, go ahead. And hey Lee, great to see you here too, brother. Yeah. So, no questions I see yet. What I can do is, as most of you know, I like to talk and I'll ramble on if I need to. So one of the things, what's currently, we are so grateful and so happy that overall the ascension and divine plan is, it's going rather quickly. What I can say is we took 10 years, 10 linear years, and over the last year or 14 months, we have covered 10 years, 10 linear years of space in about 14 months. And that is a very considerable accomplishment, and it is true. Hung, it says, where are you going next? It's a little secret right yet, but not too many knows, but we do know where we're going, which is great, and I'm happy for that. When we receive our divine direction of where to go to next, and usually it only comes a couple days in advance, but we have that, and we'll keep you all updated on that. And I put out a little fundraiser earlier in preparation for that travel, and what Femke and I will be doing and where we need to go. And of course we're always meeting for the first time even some more new divine comrades. And again, one of the biggest importance of meeting ones in the physical is the transfer of the energetic codes, and it is a very real thing, as I know many of you can attest to that have met I and Femke, and also more of you that come, but you also know that you also transfer energetic codes. There's always an energetic transfer, and that is important as well. Okay, so Simone. That's great. Okay, you got another name. Good to see you too. Okay, we have Eva. Are we going to work together with the inner earth? Great question, Eva. Because what has just come up is we had to activate in the Beaufort Sea an important nodule for the 5D grid. Now, without giving too much of it away, let's say the nodules also align with the Orion complex, the toroidal field, which transitions also this reality, which is energetically connected and playing a big role in establishing the 5D grid overlay and anchoring it into place. So having said that, to interdimensional space upon the planet, there is a dimensional world within here as well. And as most of you know, one of the main entrances to that was the Antarctica, but however, there's also another one in the Arctic Ocean. And so where you have mentioned this, Eva, that is a very good thing, and there will be more to come on to that as well. But also I can say it is a heart shape to identify. I have its epicenter wrote down. I'm actually looking at it right now. It's a heart-shaped. If you go on Google Earth and look, you will see a heart-shaped area under the ocean. And the center of that is actually the entrance and exit also to the inter-Earth dimensional space. And how we need to look at it, it depends on what level of dimensional consciousness you are in. For example, if you're not awakened or not consciously compatible, the inner earth to you may be just a molten inner core with lots of iron and heat. However, when you become multi-dimensionally consciousness, you begin to understand that the way things really work is that there is dimensional space within dimensional space. So that's a good question. You say, when are we going to work together with the inner earth? Well, what I need to say is that both major interdimensional doorways for that is open as a result of it's still being opening now, but we have initiated that the other day. So let's see where that goes to without giving too much away on that exciting thing right at this time. But yes, your answer is yes, Eva. Thank you. Ley Lines asks, how do I know if I'm doing enough? Well, let's say everyone is always, we like to say everyone is always doing exactly what they should be doing, and that they are doing enough. So, that brings you to the state of no stress, and then you can look a little bit further from there, looking at what else that you can do that's in alignment with your soul and what resonates. And so you may also see that there is more that you can do that is presented to you on your path. But to open up more of the fun and more of the gateways to doing more, to being of more divine service, is to know that you have done, in the past what is adequate to get you to this point now. and trust that, and also then you can expand upon it and take it further. So you are always doing enough. Once you come to that rationale and the consciousness and that acceptance of it, then you can do even more. And that's where it gets fun, when you surrender more consciously to divine service. So it opens more avenues and divinely for you to assist in those areas. So this is one way to do it. Thank you. Hello, Dale Marshall. Okay, we got Luca from Frankfurt. We can go outside now. He is saying from 2200 to 6 in the morning. Going to arrest. Germany appears. I'm getting to let's say a timeline that we are separating from, and then there is this higher overlay timeline. For example, in this higher overlay timeline, you can see that you go through where there's no restrictions or very few, but in that bottom one there are the restrictions. So what you're getting is a contradiction and also conflicting information. It's important to understand that and to assure what timeline the information may be coming from. So you have your discernment feature, which is your heart, of course, but also your consciousness. Now that you have connected the Christ consciousness to the heart and trust and follow that, you're able to let's say very quickly, you're able to distinguish between the two layers of reality, the duality. But having said this, with Germany, the last report I got was, I believe, 3,000 campers had ascended upon or descended upon perhaps Berlin, perhaps that was. So what is your question with that? We have some ships in the sky and are working on every place. And yes, indeed, the galactics are here. Let me say there is much also occurring in a very close dimensional space. There is a cleanup that is being taken care of. What happened is, I'm not allowed to speak too much on this right now, but yeah, there is things happening. And when you're able to see into more than one dimension, you can very quickly see what is playing out. But what occurs in one dimension affects what happens in the other dimension, so in the other timeline. So they are tied together. Michelle asks, any insight on the 12 strongest twin flames? Seems we're all still waiting on reunion. The last I got, Michelle, and to update it, I'm getting a confirmation on this. Apparently around the planet there are nine pairs that are in physical union, and the other ones are very close to that, but at least they are connected. That's with the 12, but it's actually 13 now of the strongest, and then there's many subsequent pairs have been also been activated. So there's many pairs of this creation, and many pairs to be the templates for the relationships going forward. What I'm seeing, Michelle, is that there are reunions are taking places and unions. So some may be waiting while others are getting closer, while some are reuniting, if you will. So there's several layers to, let's say, to describe what is currently happening. So there's several layers, and some are coming together, some are not yet, and some are in contact. Okay, so Flems, how do we accelerate ascension and awakening? Well, there are, the full truth with this is that yes, you can accelerate ascension. And everyone would not be out there online putting all the truth out for the others to awaken them if it wasn't a reason for it, if it wasn't beneficial. So having said this, to have a divine discipline, you're not to impose upon another soul, to interfere directly. However, you are, let's say, the beacon, the lighthouse for them to come through. And if you're not shining your light, you are of no benefit. So shine your light and speak your truth, especially openly on social medias, wherever you are at. Do not let anything restrain you from speaking your truth, and that accelerates it. And all of the people standing up, the numbers are growing every day, and there are amazing things that are occurring. So we know the truth, and just keep standing and walk the walk, they say, and talk the talk, and deliver the truth, and be the example, and be the peers. There's no way of escaping the fact that there is a hierarchy with this ascension. You have several waves. You have several waves of awakening and levels of consciousness. And but however, at the end of the day, you have perhaps the teachers up here and one's awakening here. At the end of the day, the goal is to get everyone up as teachers, so the mission is over. And the vanguard that's ahead, the headway showers, we're always reaching back to assist and uplift as many as we can. Because again, the overall ascension depends upon planetary vibration, which must be raised. And vibration overall, fear and negativity is a dense frequency. It's a lower frequency, and that is the weight that we need to let go. So by doing all of the inner work and changing the way one acts and reacts, and act in the loving, most virtuous way, but also, standing in your strength, and do not be as meek to let someone take advantage of you and run over you. We raise that frequency and that vibration, and this is what also, there's an ongoing shift of consciousness as a result of all of the combined effort of the light forces, of the light workers. The consciousness is shifting and shifting, and more is awakening. And this ascension and awakening, it's inevitable. It's imminent, and it can be looked at from perhaps a very intelligent human in the logic and the rationale and in the scientific mind, excluding the divinity aspect of it. All of the truths are there for them, for the unawakened masses now, that humanity is amidst a huge conscious evolution, is what they would term it. However, again, time and time again, we are seeing science connecting to, let's say, the divinity, the creator aspect, the metaphysics aspects. Everything that we speak about, that was shunned by a public, you now see science integrating it, connecting it into, and that is setting the stage for the new 5D state of being. So when you have science endorsing it and backing it up, then it cannot be refuted, and then it creates the reality where it is, because we interject as creators the experiences of the paranormal, but what they would call paranormal, but we're entering into the stage, the divine things, like the sky turning pink every night. We are affecting all of these things, and for science to retain its merit and to keep up with, they need scientific and explanations of what's occurring. Blah, I was rambling. Okay. What else do we have here? And hello, everyone. Hello, Wolf. Woo! Lisa Link says, why they keep clouding up the skies so we can't see. There's two different perspectives you can have on this, and the highest perspective is what I suggest, Lisa, is you're speaking perhaps about HARP and what you call chemtrails. That has HARP in reality. Individuals that are empowered have much more control than a HARP thing, and it really has little effect in this now, and really I would like to say none. And also, as with the chemtrails, they are minimal, and what you do see out there, you have so many light workers that are constantly dissipating them and working upon them, so they are also having little effect. Now, also know that there are important times with cloudy periods that are put here divinely or natural, because of photonic light streams. At times ones need to, let's say, have a rest from the light being given to them all the time, and the masses, we do need them to feel heavy so that they will wake up. Many have become complacent and zombie-like to the restrictions, and we need them to awaken, and the best way to do that is don't be giving them light, because that only keeps them afloat just at a certain level. We need them to really go down and really see what is happening so they wake up from it. And sometimes the cloud is what diminishes to the surface the photonic light, so that it creates more of a density, a depression for them, where then they're squeezed down so much that they can't take it anymore, and their only choice is to come out fighting, and that's what we need. So that's great, so thank you for that. Hi Lisa, solar flares and flashes. Yeah, I just part of that is the photonic light and the pulses that we are doing. But also you need to know that the twin flame creator pairs are also energetically connected into a lot of this, what is going on too, without going too deep into that. So it's constant, and we also have from Proxima Centauri, one of the nearest to Earth stars, if you will, suns. That's becoming a little bit more active, which is assisting. And also we have what we could say Red Star Kachina, or the Eye of the Bull, which is here, and you can read about that in Hopi Prophecy, and I believe in some other Midwest to West native North American ancient knowledge as well, and that is in the sky, and it has been here for a bit now. So what you really have is all of the prophecies and, let's say, the unmanipulated scripture, written word in the Bible. There are some truths there that if you're to look at all of it, you'll see it's absolutely correct what is occurring, and it is totally amazing. And Brynhild in Norway, hello, great to see you. Okay, scrolling down. And hi, Leslie. Yeah, you're saying very dense, but Leslie Louise in Canada. Yeah, but you two get together with your comrade, and I know very quickly you can clear up the skies. I've witnessed your divine powers, yours and Deborah's, before. You know, when you get together, yeah, do your thing is what I suggest, and you'll clear it right up. Woo. Hi, Christine. Nice to see Alaska in here. Flem says, can you elaborate on the last 2 to 3 days of energy field? Says, I've felt heavy and irritation inducing energies. Feel like I can't contain myself. Well, the last few days, yes, you know, what we've been doing, and if you refer to the update I put out perhaps about 3 days ago, referencing to this time what we were delivering from the sun, was important enhanced light energy, and we had requested that all of the light of the ground crew to be the conduits and let that light come through you and ripple outward and just ground it into ground zero right on the surface. And what this light does now, because of, let's say, all of the confusion and the remnants of density that was all discombobulated, or whatever word, disassembled, then it's time for this cleansing light to also come in and to push into places a lot of the negativity to be more readily, to compact it so it's more readily identified, the energetic geographical areas. Then it's easier to also, with certain light workers that are assigned to these areas, to transmute that energy and hence the upliftment. So you have all around the all around Gaia, all around the world, you have so many daily that you don't even know about are doing important energetic work to facilitate this whole energetic upliftment as well. So we had that huge influx of enhanced light, and let me say it's multifunctional. It's also to activate more of the Divine One's light bodies, your crystalline body, and to enhance that further, and also to assist with further rapid awakening. And it also energetically gives the incentive also to the individual to divinely stand up. So you're also seeing the effects generated or reflected within the increase of the protesters in the amount. You see that it's actually doing something, and that's what it's divinely designed to do. And again, as with any great influxes of light, there are so many different ascension symptoms, and it depends on the level where one is at to what symptoms that they incur with it. And you know, if it's down there you felt irritation, these are fears that need to be mastered. let's say within you, to have irritation, it would separate and restrict you from some of your divine power. But where irritation comes up and you recognize it, then that means you have the ability to master it. And what I mean by mastering is that irritation cannot control you any longer to make you irritated. And once you master that, then you no longer see irritation enter your space. You no longer feel it, as an example of also why it must go. See, every time you replace a non-virtue with a virtue, and let's take patience, impatience is a non-virtue, but it's fear. And when you replace that with patience, then you are empowered, because this is aligned with the ascension, with self-empowerment, and also downstream, if you will, instead of trying to swim against the current. That's what I strongly suggest. And you're saying, yeah, about a hard job to stay in the last few days. When you're subjugated to that lower timeline that I mentioned about earlier here in this live, it's becoming more and more unbearable for the higher ones, and the simple reason is this lower timeline is ready to go, and what's occurring is facilitating and assuring that as more of the people stand up, this timeline is imploding rapidly. And you can say this is one of your signs from your soul, knowing that the end is near. And again, because of this, everything that you do where you're in the duality now, the lower timeline and the higher one, it's important that everyone in this higher timeline and vibration keeps assisting in imploding this. And the best way to implode this is when you have ones that are coming out of it, to raise them up, and then this more rapidly implodes because it's not supported by so much of the energetic conscious belief. For example, if right in this moment today no one supported or believed in governments, they would not assist because it's not energetically supported. So we do the opposite and empower everyone forward onto the higher timelines. So, great. So Kevin Strong, walking around barefoot, yeah, newly awakened. And yeah, letting the energies flow through your body. Yeah, thanks for that, Kevin. Many may be skeptical as they're trained to be, or the unawakened masses, and say those guys are nuts to speak about energy. But let me tell you, once they feel it and experience it, then they know how real it is, and they also know what it is for too. So it's great, but they need to have the experience. And what I can say to any one of you watching, if you haven't experienced the energy yet, that you will in the future. And you might even reflect back on this moment when we once again told you it was real, and that everything with the Ascension is real, and all of this is occurring for a reason. It's not just a fluke of human nature. This is actually a divine design And it's been written and set up also for this time, hence your prophecies and all of your other confirmations. Ah, good. Manny says something about some twin flames are working on different levels, but sometimes one twin doesn't remember on this level. You know what I wish to say with that again, there are so many unique experiences, and there are so many different ways that were set up that I don't wish to diminish any. You know, what we are supposed to do is to understand that beliefs, that they all have value and they're good. Even though this belief may not resonate with I, it does resonate with someone and it does have value. So for I, as an Ascension teacher, I recognize that value and I do not diminish, any belief that is assisting someone forward. One thing I do not support is a belief that is readily identified as a dark concoction, a misconception to deceive ones. And I will not support that. And I will reveal that. But I mean, each one's individual heart does tell them what is authentic, what is genuine, and what is not. And again, your heart is your discernment feature. And follow that, and also your enhanced consciousness. And the remnants of darkness, hello, blue orb. He was here, Femke and I saw him a couple nights ago. But, it's your heart in your Christ consciousness discerns what is genuine and what is not. And I need to say that there is remnants of darkness there that we are lifting ones up above. And remember, the most identifiable attribute of the remnants of darkness is that they were masters of deception. However, we are the ultimate omnipotent masters above them. They cannot lie to us. They cannot keep anything concealed. Hence, the great revelations of the last 10 years where all the corruption is being exposed to the public. All of it's documented, all the evidence is coming out very quickly with that. But the thing is do not be tricked by anything of the darkness, that anything that doesn't seem to advance you, any thought or any belief, if you don't see the full advancement benefit of it, perhaps you should look a little bit deeper into it, because the dark does make in the past some beliefs. They make these constructs to keep one's looping. And be wise. Use your wise love with this. That's what I strongly suggest. And that is a step above the unconditional love. Use your wisdom integrated into the love with the discernment of knowing you don't want to love the darkness and keep them alive by energizing those thoughts. You don't want to drag them forward into the next upward level. We're here to take humanity out of that, and we don't want them going forward. So they're being cleaned up, they're being left behind, or taking hours forward, if you will. Great. So, have a look here. Hey, great, I'm all caught up. Woo, that was great. It was great this morning. I told Femke in my messenger, I believe this morning when I got up, I only had maybe 7 messages, which was great. Let me say, I love that. And that was one of the most quietest mornings or days when I got up yet. And I loved it because believe me, if I was to answer every message, I would be on the messenger 24 hours a day if I had left it open. And with that, though, many are pretty good now. You're not messaging me, you're not sending YouTubes and these sort of things that take up my time, and I'm more able to reply to ones when I must, and able to look at other divine things that we're doing. So thank you for obliging I with not inundating I with videos and lots of things that others are writing. I can check on what others are writing by myself unless it's extremely important. So I thank you for that. And what Femke had showed me a post, though written this morning, that was important. So you take, you take what I call the RV, Jacera, Nacera timelines, what have you, and you take the ultimate, what we're doing with the global people's monetary system, which is the absolute solution. We see that the Nacera and Jacera and GCR, RV, that they are beginning to converge. They're beginning to recognize this ultimate. And let me say, I'm so grateful to see the actual emergence towards the convergence, if you will. And so that is great. And what this means is that very soon it's going to substantiate a very huge base for what we're doing with the global people's new monetary system and bringing the people together. And again, one of the quickest ways in the solutions to free humanity is when you look at the less than 1% that was controlling the world's money and the way everything was run, which includes your governments, less than 1%, then you had 99% of the people relying and codependent or fully dependent upon the money, what the 1% was creating and controlling. Well, it becomes preposterous when you look at the great power of the 99%, which are the people. So it's only common sense and logic that this 99% of the people are quite apt and prepared and ready to create their own money, and it doesn't need any asset or material backing with it. When we choose as the people to have a monetary exchange system, we also can choose if it needs an asset backing or not. We can just choose it for ourselves. There is nothing to limit how much money that we activate ourselves. So we can all come together, be prudent with the money creation process to assure that humanity goes forward and that everything doesn't stall. But the thing is, we don't need gold, we don't need land, you don't need resources to back a currency off of. All you need is the self. Where we exist, you create off of yourself, in which it's unlimited. So having said this is also why you have 99% of the people worldwide, and once we have the right ones woke up a little bit further to join us with the global people's monetary system, then we keep taking it forward and it keeps fanning outward and outward. But again, it's imminent. Look at the governments worldwide. The figure is perhaps the governments and the leaders combined is less than 200,000. There's a bunch of billionaires and millionaires are out there, but think for one moment. Their value at being a millionaire or billionaire is based on the money they created, the 1%. But if you take the 99% upon the planet, that creates the one new dominant money, then the elitists, their money has no value. When it's not supported, nor recognized, nor exchanged, it becomes obsolete. So this is the way to do it. Don't be fooled by when ones are saying, the Vatican is broke, the banks are broke, because that is not fully true. And the reason why that is not fully true is because they create money at will for their own self. So if you're waiting, let's say, on financial crimes to tear down the old elitist regime, it's not going to work, because they have the power to keep creating their own money and forcing you to comply with what they say about money. So what we're doing is, no, we're stopping that right in its tracks. We're taking all of the people, the 99% of the people upon the planet, and we are creating the people's unlimited money, where there is no debt, no ridiculous interest, and no loss, no profit, and wiping out instantly the poverty that was created by governments. Yes, governments created the poverty. Governments created much sickness, and the way they did it is through the control of money. Let's take Canada, for example, the government of Canada. Look at what they did with the financial stock exchange, the TSX, when the Maple Group, what the government of Canada does, hand that over to the Maple Group, which was the banks and the pension funds, to control a financial stock market for Canada, which was absolutely absurd. So what you had is all the Canadians with the old system, all of their pensions, all of their money wrapped up into a financial market that the banks controlled and that the pension funds controlled. One of the first things to expose the corruption was the Ontario Teachers' Pension Plan. They were one that was first exposed. They were part of the owners of the Maple Group, and they were very quickly first exposed at corruption within their trading. And these were the owners themselves of the TSX. But like all of the banks, when you know the full truth, all of the banks in Canada are partisans in the huge fraud, in the huge crime. When you get down to the very basics of trading in the stock markets, it's all foundationed biasly, and it's on deceit. It is not fair and open markets, and that is also where the bigger fraud lays, when they try to give that illusion to the people, that it is a fair market. They can never do that, but they're actually lying to the people, and it's all being revealed as well. And in the new monetary system, there is no stock markets. There is no need for it. There is no need for any companies to raise funds. All of the essential companies that are essential to humanity's growth are instantly funded as we transition down the road out of the need very quickly for money at all. So divinity will use and is using money as a tool to transition and advance humanity forward, which is very great. So we flipped the tables, and you may have heard that before. Someone else flipped the tables, a couple thousand years ago, if you remember. I believe it might have been in Solomon's temple. So very, if you look back, there are some truths that are written. So we are flipping the tables in this time, and we are giving the power, we are activating the power within the people, something that's unprecedented, and enough is enough of how it was. And again, nothing stops this. The people have the power. You are 99%. The governments in their few police forces are 1%. It is no contest. It is a no match, and you're seeing this. You're seeing it also, recently, I believe Femke said in London, they tried to arrest someone, the police, the other day for, maybe not a mask on or something, and very quickly he was released. The police could not hold him because the people would not allow it. And this is the power of the people. So it's all happening. Woo! Okay, any more questions before I wrap this up so I don't get overly long-winded and ramble? So anyhow, it's all happening. I'm very happy, and all of us would like it to happen, much sooner. But again, it is a transitional thing. Many have hit a ceiling, let's say, in your growth right at this time, your divine empowerment, but you're all capped because we've got to stay right here for now, because we have the rest coming. And once we get enough up here, then very quickly you can break through this next ceiling, and we are all going there. So again, it's all been won by the light. Grandiose as someone might think this may sound, well, to confirm it to you, instead of attacking me, just go back and look at my posts, and then look what happens a few days later, and you will discover that yes, I am the oracle to the degree that I claim I am, and much more. So don't make a fool of yourself at attacking and trying to discredit I. Go and do your actual research, and you will see that I speak only the truth. Thank you. So, looking at a couple more. Are we going to see disclosure? Yes, you're seeing disclosure on so many fronts, and yeah, you are. It's occurring, and bit by bit, each day, depending on how you wish to identify or define what disclosure is, it's happening always, concurrently and going forward. Video is stopping. I should have a pretty good signal here. Perhaps just check your feed to make sure you got a strong signal coming in. How's everyone else? Is this going good, or is it glitching at times? Thank you. And thank you, Christina. So Christina's got our website up there, and Christina is what I would call the director, CEO, and the whole executive of this huge project for humanity. And she has one of the most important, I would say, divine jobs upon the planet at this time. And yeah, that is true. Because within that package is the full liberation and for humanity, the salvation, the full freedom. And she is assuring that gets where it needs to go, and she's doing the initial intense administrative work at coordinating everything and organizing it. And of course, we have also there assisting Christina. It's all a huge team. It's perhaps over 100 others that are part of that, which are all the great teams working on individual tasks and making all of this possible for humanity. And everyone within the global people's monetary system, they're all volunteers as well, to assure that this is simplified and presentable to the public, to make a vote. We're offering it to them as a choice, and it doesn't cost them anything. So we're giving it to humanity as simple as possible, and it is what we are giving to the unawakened masses, is the opportunity of the greatest gift ever known to mankind, not to never ever, everyone upon the planet, not to ever stress about money again or not having enough food. So this is one of the true greatest gifts that was ever given by Creator to the planet. So it is beginning to be more recognized and acknowledged, but there's a little bit of divine timing at play as well. We need to implode that old, which is happening very handsomely and at a great exponential rate. And so while that's dismantling, we're creating, we say, hey guys, here's your new reality. This is the freedom and the simple solution. So it's very great what's happening. Some pauses. Okay. Interesting. Okay, just one last question, and I'm going to call this call an end to it. I'm asked about Bitcoin, about this is a cryptocurrency, and about the central bank. What we are doing with the new system, as I mentioned before, the most easiest way is that the people create this one dominant money that, let's say, all that were in cryptocurrencies and all of the old denominations of the numerous currencies out there are all honored into the new system. We don't, with creating this new system, it's not to take any existing wealth from anyone. It's to activate another layer and give everyone the comfort, and they redeem, transfer their existing old wealth into the new wealth with it. So having said that, whatever's left standing with cryptos and the stock markets, it is transitioned into the new. Now what you see with the banks and the remnants of darkness, out of their great fear, they will try to take money from the other people by crashing investments and whatever. It doesn't matter to the banks. The banks, see, the way it was all set up, the governments and banks never lose money at all because they always had the ability to create it whenever they wanted. So in actuality, on the real set of books for the banks and governments, there is never any loss. There's only the allocation of the money they create into the system for the others. There was never any chance of any loss for them. This is why your banks, just when they were caught, let's say from some honest people doing some criminal things, the banks only ever had to say, oh, we'll pay the fine, it's $1 trillion or whatever. Yeah, that's nothing. We'll pay the fine, and we'll say we don't admit to any wrongdoing. And then that's accepted by the legal system, and they don't lose their license, and they keep operating, because they're all in collusion and collaborating together with the governments. It's just really actually all an illusion and a farce, and that's all been exposed as well. So Bitcoin and all these things, yeah, whatever's left will be transitioned into this. But let me say, that the remnants of darkness are very afraid. Even the government of Canada is trying to buy ones with a basic income, so they get a vaccination or what have you. It's very sick and very low, but it's very good to see the blatancy of it. The government's mentality is that low that they think people are that stupid, which they're not, and this is working greatly in the light favor, because people are not dumb, and it makes it more easy for the people and even the children to come in and support what we're doing with the global monetary system. So that is also speeding things up in a good way for us. So great. Get the word out about the new monetary system. Woo! Peace and love and light and kisses. Lots of winks. Yeah, we're doing it. And much gratitude. Have an amazing day. Thank you, and I love you all. And we love each other. Woo!